So one other thing while I'm down here, I did just want to get the transmission cooler fittings and lines on. Looks like they had been deleted on at some point, and that's not something you don't run with. You need your transmission cooler lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these fittings screwed in, get the lines on them, and at least running towards the front where I'd put more fittings on the radiator and put that in. But yeah, go ahead and take care of this while I'm under here. All right, get these guys started by hand and run on up to the front. This is just a cheap old Amazon kit for like, I mean, you can use it on LS conversions, but it'll work on pretty much any GM transmission, I believe, this kit. Let's see. All right. One hanging in this TV cable. I've got to smash that out of the way just a little bit because it's kind of wanting to interfere with the connection here. And on these kind of flared fittings, you'll never get it on right if you're kind of starting sideways. The hose has to be able to kind of move back and forth to get tight. All right. Grab a wrench, I'll tighten those guys down, run them up to the front, and then we'll find the next thing to put on this beast. Well, I did find the inspection cover over in a pile of parts that I'd dug out. So, fun fact, I had no idea on these Pontiacs are plastic. I did not know. I mean, that kind of helps when you gotta finagle it around a bunch of headers and stuff, but I've always just dealt with the metal ones if the car actually has it. And never, ever does everyone have 4 of the bolts. I don't know what it is every person that I buy a car from, minimum missing 1. Most of the time is 50%. There's 2 bolts doing all the work of the 4, but I mean, it's there. This thing's not doing anything, any kind of real hard lifting. But yeah, it's always funny. Like, why the inspection covers? Why do those always get attacked? Plastic. Don't understand. But definitely don't put a whole bunch of torque on this or it's gonna crack. Just kind of give it a snug and be done with it. And we're getting closer and closer to being done with underneath this car. I just keep finding more stuff I can do. So hopefully we're getting close. So top side here, I'm gonna work on getting them headers in first. But upon buying the vehicle, I realized there was no way to check the oil. So I spun the oil filter off and just looked at it like that when I was there. But I've heard real bad things about these Scepter dipsticks. And I'm just gonna tell you, like, the part that slides into the block, I've heard doesn't fit very well. So fingers crossed. I'm gonna jam this thing in before I bolt the headers down solid. I just think being able to maneuver them around is a little bit better idea than just, going at it after it's hard bolted in. But I mean, hopefully what I'll probably do is drain all that oil, refill it with the correct amount of oil that I know is right. And then I can kind of reference the dipstick after that. So I would not recommend going off the markings on these aftermarket dipsticks. They don't know what engine they're going in. Like, your best, course of action, drain your oil, put the right amount that you know is right in, and then, reference your dipstick, put a score on it, scratch it, something. And that's what you want to do on those. So pray that I don't have to get out the grinder and grind this stuff down so where it'll actually go into the block. But it'll probably be a set of crescent wrenches. I'm gonna go ahead and stab this guy, and then we'll start working on them headers. Well, I got dipstick in, sorta. I mean, it fits. We're gonna have to put a whole bunch of black RTV and kind of zip tie it onto something to make it probably stay in the hole. And while I was over there, I went ahead, tightened down all the header bolts on the driver's side. Passenger side's kind of the same story. If you ain't ever seen these gaskets before, man, there's only 5 bolts holding these things on, and you got 4 of them that are sliders. So they kind of did you a favor on that, but you can start, you know, all of those, wait till the end to do your last bolt. But this is pretty easy header, at least I think, compared to some other ones that are bolt access and just getting it started. Go ahead, get this thing tightened up, and I mean, just kind of keep checking off the list. There was a fuel line over there on the driver's side that I guess because of the other engine, it ran on that side. I'm probably going to have to, I don't know, maybe cut the metal line back further and run, you know, just like a junction rubber line to another metal line up to the fuel pump on the passenger side. So, well, I'm going to keep on working here, and I'll give you guys an update here in a little bit. Well, here you go, guys. Passenger side in. And that third bolt hole from the front fought me bad. I mean, real bad. Pretty sure I got hit with a few of Bret Hart's moves of doom. And that's the Hitman. He hit me with this car hit me with at least side rush and leg sweep and an elbow drop from the second rope. I'm feeling it. I think I'm gonna call it a day after getting the exhaust on. If you wanna look here, this thing still needs all the accessories, some sort of fuel system, carb, and then I got to figure out what was going on with this wiring. I think I got enough figured out where I can hot wire it, but to do it right, it's going to take a little bit of digging. But all right, I'm going to give myself a break, start working on this thing tomorrow. After getting all the headers buttoned up, went ahead and plopped the old quadrajet down, because we're going to be making those whoa sounds on this thing. But went ahead, put the correct flare style fuel inlet fitting on there. And then on the back side here, I kind of got a fancy throttle bracket. This thing bolts right to a quadrajet base. And you got your 2 correct little throttle linkage holes on the other side. One for, pretty sure that's your accelerator pedal, and the other one might be cruise control. I think that's what it is on this thing. But yeah, they make them for, you know, if you're running 700 R4 or whatever, you need a kick down, and you got it. I'm gonna go ahead. I got the back bolts just kind of slightly tight. Ooh, that's bolts looking like it's really long. I'm hoping it hasn't started threading yet. There's a chance that's way too long. Well, I'm gonna work on getting this thing stabbed through this gasket. It's pretty thick. And go ahead and start tightening stuff down. Got them started. Let's go ahead and run them down. So this carb is a manual choke. I'm gonna need to, I don't know, zip tie or wire this thing open. I ain't gonna run a manual choke lever on it, because when the choke's closed, this little lever here is up. And if this guy's up, your secondaries won't open on this carb. So you gotta make sure your choke up, that little lever's down, then that'll let everything else on your secondaries open. And I just do want to show you guys. So somebody used aftermarket fasteners on the intake manifold. And this fastener here was hitting the throttle linkage. So I just took a piece of pliers and just bent it a little. And this carb is a little sticky. Those secondaries, there's a little click. You hear it? Right there. So if that's bad, I might put a different carb on this. But I kind of want to run it and just see if you can actually feel that when you're driving. I mean, these carbs are old. This carb specifically is from the 60s. I think this came on like a 69 Chevelle 396 or something like that is what I got this off of. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, this thing's kind of done that, but there's a little bolt back there. Looks like somebody, either it's about to break or somebody didn't tighten it down all the way. So fingers crossed on that. Hope that don't snap off. But the distributor is definitely not tightened down. So somebody put it in and never set timing on this engine. And then there's just wires back there. I mean, there's wires twisted together and just, I don't know. I got a diagram, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna keep plugging along on that carb, and then I'm gonna probably start working on the front accessory drive. So none of y'all are familiar with this engine. Very specific accessory drive that's kind of only goes to this engine. And I did have to buy a part. I was just gonna fab it. And then after I finally found this company, Firebird Central, they make this kind of aftermarket rear alternator bracket. And I was gonna fab this up, but man, by the time you look at it and the time it would have taken me to fab this, just buy it. It was $50-something. So, I mean, especially if you're buying a couple things from them, then the shipping costs is a little easier to swallow. But yeah, I'm gonna start working on this, getting our accessories bolted up. This car takes a different power steering pump than what's on it. That's the old 301 pump. Won't work. So I'm gonna take hoses, pump out, and then start working. This is our new one up here. And then the bracket, bracket, spacer, all that stuff. It's got a front and rear bracket. So y'all wish me luck just kind of getting that stuff fabbed up a little bit. All right, guys. Y'all ever start one of them jobs and it just feels like it's never going to end? So I've been jacking with the accessories on this. And if you guys don't know, the Oldsmobile 403 has got a zillion different options for pulleys, water pumps, power steering pumps. There's different alternators. From what I can gather, you can use one belt on this system. I did not know that when I started, so I've been jacking with this thing, trying to get my power steering lined up with the middle pulley on the water pump. I mean, that's normal. Your alternator sit out front, power steering pump operate on the belt behind it. Looking at part numbers on these engines, there are belts that run water pump, alternator, power steering pump. I did not know that before I started this project, guys. So I guess the bracketry and I think it's really the right bracketry, the wrong power steering pump I got, or wrong power steering pump pulley. I think I have the right bracketry to run, on the middle pulley, the water steering pump. I think I ordered all that right. But I think it's something in the power steering pump or the pulley I got that lined it up on this outside pulley. So seeing that there's part numbers for it, for a belt, when you search like Rock Auto, they run the belt this way on the accessory drive system. So I had no clue, but I think something power steering, pump or pulley. So my fix is gonna be, hey, if it's good enough for Oldsmobile, it's good enough for this rig. So we're just gonna run a one belt system, and I'll just keep an extra in the car at all times. But just want to give you guys an update on that. And this thing, there's great diagrams to do the accessories on these cars. I didn't want to go through bolting this whole thing on, but it's quite the process. It's a puzzle. You know, spacers and this thing that I ordered that was fabricated from a company. But everything works as it should. I got where you can tension the alternator and tension the power steering pump. Just going to keep plugging along to get to a point where I can at least hear this thing fire off. And then we can start on our next video after that of actually making this thing move. Well, guys, through various forms of hot wiring, I kind of got this thing ready to crank. I got jumper cables going all over the place to give me a ground. I already spun the motor over with the starter just to kind of build a little bit of oil pressure. This thing, I don't think it's been ran in a long time. Slight metallic sounding noise, I don't know. Let's hope that's nothing. But let's go ahead. You just want to fill your bowl on your carb here. Maybe give it a couple of little extra squirts on your primaries. But I got a wire here running to the HEI, and I plug that up to the positive. This thing should be at least ready to kind of crank. Got a couple vacuum caps I need to throw on. But yeah, let me get the finishing filling this bowl. And I'll throw those caps on and we'll cut to trying to crank this thing. All right, guys, so got some vacuum caps on, got the bowls full. Remember, we don't have any coolant, anything in this engine. Can't run it long. I mean, that's if it does start. Battery was a little weak. I got the charger on it right now. But ignition is hot. What do y'all think? Is this thing gonna crank up? Let's give it a little pump shot, just for good measure. Let's see. Come on now. I think she's a little out of time. It's a good indication when somebody gives you the car and the distributor's loose. They've been jacking with the ignition some. Let's see what happens. Turn it that way a little. I don't know if that's better or worse. Woo! She's definitely not liking that way. Or we got firing order mixed up. There's a real good chance of that. I haven't looked at any of this, so let's try it again. It might have liked that a little, but we're kind of running out of adjustment here on our distributor. Whoa. I don't know about that one. That was a crazy sound. Uh-oh. Did I lose my starter cable? Well, let me get this thing up in the air and look. That ain't good. Well, guys, it looks like the starter just needed somebody show them who's boss. Get a little hammer action on it. So I guess let's keep on cranking on this thing, just see what happens. Yeah, she's definitely gonna need the base timing set. You can see that flame action coming out. I don't think it's in the neighborhood. Man, that starter is making it sound like a Mopar starter. Dang, it ain't any good. Woo, she hangs open forever, that starter. Jeez. See if we need a little more juice. Get the backfires going higher. All right, come on. Lots of flames.
Hey man, how the hell you doing? I've been
Come on now.
living life with the new sound. Watching your mouth move, damn, you look stupid. I feel like
I'm gonna have to look. Verify number one. I don't even know on Pontiac engine where number one is, if it's this side or that. I'm gonna verify number one. Do a little digging on the timing. See what we got going on. Because this definitely sounds like a timing issue. I don't know if these guys even had it in the ballpark, you know? You never know. They could have just stabbed this thing in here just so the distributor's in the engine. Yeah, something just don't sound right. Yeah. Feels like fire in order, but it could be timing. All right, well, I'm gonna work on figuring out fire in order, timing, get to messing with this thing. This is some high-level fiddling going on. All right, everybody. Excellent learning opportunity. So all I did was take out number one spark plug, hold my finger over it, crank it over till my finger gets pushed off. And then your marker on your timing light, or your timing marker and your harmonic balancer marker should be about the same. Pull the old HEI cap, and number one is kind of in the front here. And guess what? If I can get to it, our rotor, 180 out. So she's back here pointing towards the firewall, and it should be pointing towards pretty much the front of the engine. So that is textbook somebody installing the distributor 180 out. If you ever hear guys on shows or anything talking about that, you got pretty much two ways to guess, if you're just guessing by timing marks, how to stab your distributor, and only one of them's right. And this guy got it wrong. So excellent learning opportunity for everybody. Don't do this. All you got to do is use the number one spark plug hole. That's it. And it fire right up. So I got to pull the distributor, re-stab it, pointing the right way. All right, guys, win or lose on this one. This is how the video is ending, because I think I'm about out of time working on this thing right now. But I got the distributor out, turned the rotor 180 degrees, refilled the bowl, got my hot wire wired up. She's ready to crank. And another indication this thing was 180 out, as I saw the crank turning the wrong way a couple times. That's another indication your firing order or your timing is way out. So let's give this thing a crank. Well, I think we're getting closer. See if it likes it. I don't think it did. Try it the other way. I did not check the firing order after all that, so that could be another thing that's an issue. But one, let's just check the first two. Is that going to number 8? Hold on. No way. Did they just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? So number 1. Bang. This guy's going to 2. Hold on. Let me look here real quick here. Which direction does the distributor spin on this car? Distributor rotates counterclockwise. All right. So it is right. 1, 8. This ain't right. So number 1. And I can see that one's going to 8. This should be 4. This ain't 4. All right, let's pull that off. Let's find 4. So 4 over there. Man, did Oldsmobile have some weird firing order that I don't know about? 4. Is this going to 3? 3. 6. And this should be 5. 5. 4, 3, 6, 5. Should be 7. So they had 2 plug wires in wrong positions. That could be an issue, along with the bad timing. It was 180 out. Man, you never know what you're going to be working with, and I'm not lying about it. Now I'm done this so many times, I'm double checking myself. 1, 8, 4. And that should be 3. 6. 5. And then 7 and 2. All right. Well, let's give her hell now. Well, I can tell you right now, it's a whole lot happier with the right firing order and ballpark right timing. The ignition wire flopped out there on me. See if I can jam this thing in here with me for a while. Get my battery charger cable to hold it on. Oh yeah, she's solid now. All right, here we go. timing. She's gonna run. Yeah, I definitely need to get the light on it, but it's a runner. So we had cross plug wires and distributor 180 out on the ignition. Woo! Man, she sounds good. Until she don't, but we can work with that. That's something to build on. I think she's pretty thirsty. Like really thirsty. Let's do one more, then we're gonna call it good. Just give her a little bit of touch there. Woo! Well, she's running. And I think that's probably about where I'm gonna call it. Call it good for now. Well, I'm a sweaty mess. And this is our Trans Am, and we got a runner engine. So next video, we're gonna do everything we need to do to get this thing mobile, because we kind of got a little bit of a deadline to meet for everything that I want to do to the car. But man, I appreciate y'all watching this. Hopefully y'all like it, learn something about these cars. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And remember, till you see my next video, man, just go out, do something that makes you happy. Like fixing all the ignition problems on an old Trans Am that you don't know anything about. Go do that. That'll make you happy. All right, I'll see y'all next time.